It's Saturday, Greg, and today we're talking about some of the 80s biggest flops. The 80s biggest flops. Now, when I say biggest flops, they're not necessarily the movies that lost the most money, but they're the movies that you remember being really good, but were actually flops.
No, I think what you mean is just bear with me. Right, they were rubbish then, but we kind of like them now as well, don't you?
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean? Is that there?
There's one on the list though that I've watched recently, and it really is terrible.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
See, I don't know this list yet. Show me, Jason.
So first of all, Greg, here's the first one we're talking about. A new breed of hero.
Is it what's it called? The Ed.
Well, it's a duck. It's not Ed.
No,
Howard.
Howard. I knew it was Howard.
Howard the Duck was released in 1986, and it was a science fiction comedy film, and it starred Leah Thompson, Tim Robbins, and Howard the Duck.
Sorry?
Howard the Duck. The executive producer of this film was George Lucas of Star Wars fame. So you would have thought
Love Star Wars.
that it had a chance of being a good film, and I remember really liking it when I was a kid.
Yeah. I think it was one of, I don't know, I think it was a cool thing to like, wasn't it then?
It used to be a Marvel comic book, or it might still be a Marvel comic book, but it was based on a Marvel comic book character called Howard the Duck. The film adaptation became live action, and I don't think that it was that close to the stories of the comic book.
Tell you what, great costumes and everything, wasn't it?
The animatronics and everything was brilliant.
For that age.
It had a big budget, which we'll find out in a minute. George Lucas wanted to adapt the comic book after he had a big success with American Graffiti. Remember that film? Following multiple production difficulties and mixed responses to test screenings, Howard the Duck was released in theatres on August the 1st, 1986. So that's
screening.
What
year?
August 1st, 1986. 30...
it's over 30 years, that is, Jason.
31.
Yeah. Told you.
Upon its release, the film was a critical and commercial failure. Greg?
Was it?
Yes. Contemporary critics saw the decision to shoot the film in live action instead of as animated film as a really, really bad idea.
Are you sure you haven't been drinking?
I'm sure I haven't been drinking.
You haven't had a couple this morning, though?
It made about $15 million at the box office.
In 1986? That's not bad, is it?
Well, it cost $30 million to make.
Horrendous.
So, a loss of $15 million. I'm sure since then it has become a bit of a cult thing.
Oh, but the videos must have made a fortune.
Yeah, DVD sales and all of that stuff.
They've just about broke even.
Made it break even, yeah.
That's it. No more Mr. Nice Duck.
Next, Greg, on the list of the 80s biggest flops, is this film, which may not be instantly recognisable to many people.
Oh, I actually really love this.
What is it, Greg?
Is it something like Mac?
Mac and Me.
Mac and Me. I used to love this film.
This was released in 1988. It was about a mysterious alien creature, Mac. Whatever, Greg. Do you get it? Mysterious alien creature, Mac.
Yeah.
Who escapes from NASA agents and is befriended by a boy who uses a wheelchair. And I can't remember his name. Was it Eric? The boy's name Eric?
It's not Banana Man.
Together they try to find Mac's family from whom he has been separated. It obviously...
was a rip-off of E.T.
Yeah, was kind of trying to be like a boy and his alien.
I mean, he's even going down the hill there with him in his front, like in a basket, on the bike.
Now,
isn't he?
He is, yes.
You're not even listening to me. I don't know why I'm here.
He's going down the hill like he's on a bike, you said then, like E.T. in the basket.
What was my last word I said?
You're not even listening to me, are you?
No, it was said.
If you've ever seen any interviews with a guy called Paul Rudd, we were looking at this the other day, weren't we?
Oh yeah, it's very funny.
Whenever he has a new film out, he'll go on a talk show like Conan, and he'll say he's brought a clip of the film with him, and Conan will cue the clip up, and he'll say, "Here's Paul's latest film, Ant-Man. In this scene, he's doing this and that," and then I'll play it, and it's always the same clip of Mac and me of the wheelchair going over the cliff.
I hope you understood that, because basically that was undescribable what he's just said. So I don't know what he's talking about. Who's Conan? Is he a destroyer?
No, Conan O'Brien, Greg.
Right.
Talk show host.
Where?
In America.
Where are we?
America. Well, we're in the UK.
Well, I've never seen it.
But lots of people know who he is, Greg.
Do
Do you ever watch any popular culture or anything?
I watch Judge Judy, and you know I do. Now that's popular culture.
Anyway, Mac and Me, Greg, cost... I don't know what the costs were, but it made a grand total of... Ready for this?
Go on. Why are you still looking for it?
$6.4 million.
Is that it?
At the box office.
That's terrible.
And I mean, it's got to have cost more than that, hasn't it?
I can't say I hated it though, because I remember it coming out and really liked it.
I haven't seen this for years.
No, I haven't. I'll probably watch it again now, and it'll be horrendous. One of the worst films I've ever seen.
Another one on the list, Greg. Are you ready for this?
I'm enjoying this, Chase.
Well, do you remember this film, Greg? Name that film.
No idea.
Now, with a cast like Eddie Murphy and Dudley Moore, you'd think it'd be amazing, wouldn't you? That film's called Best Defence, if you haven't heard of it, by the way. And I remember it being okay. It was a comedy. When Eddie Murphy was still kind of funny. Before he did Boomerang and all those films that weren't Vampire in Brooklyn.
Are you telling me Beverly Hills Cop 3 is not the best film you've ever seen?
I am telling you that, yeah.
I agree.
This was made in 1984, an American comedy film starring Dudley Moore and Eddie Murphy. Quite a strange pairing. Didn't really work on screen. I think that might be the problem with the whole film.
Well, he's not Peter Cook, is he?
No. The original music score was composed by Patrick Williams, in case you were interested.
Really interested.
The plot of the movie takes place in two parallel plots separated by a couple of years. In 1982, Dudley Moore's character is an engineer developing the targeting system on a tank, and in 1984, Eddie Murphy's character is an American tank commander sent to Kuwait to demonstrate that said tank defence thing. And all sorts of hilarity, Greg, ensues. It's so funny.
It looks funny.
The budget for this film...
The what?
The budget...
The budget
for this
film... Sat!
...was $18 million. Million dollars.
What's that?
That's... Gold member, whatever it is. Austin Powers.
Never seen it.
Like I said, do you ever watch anything, Greg?
Judge Judy. I hope she does a film.
Could you imagine?
Judge Judy, the movie.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The movie received it received bad reviews.
What we're going to do is we're going to leave that there, okay?
It received bad reviews from critics, although it opened very strong as number 2 behind Ghostbusters that year.
Ghostbusters? Wow, did it? There must have been some right that year then.
In its opening weekend, it made $7.8 million, but quickly lost steam, mostly due to the poor word of mouth, and it only grossed just over $19 million. So
it made $1 million. So by the time they paid them off,
yeah, that's nothing for a.
I mean, they were probably on $2 or $3 million each, weren't they?
Well, I think that's probably included in the budget for the film.
Oh, I see. Well, then the budget would have been about $3 million, then, wouldn't it? You know, these two would have been huge at payouts then.
You'd have thought so.
Dudley Moore plays Wiley, the not-so-successful engineer who helps design the tank.
Thank you so much.
Eddie Murphy plays Landry, the reluctant young lieutenant assigned to test the tank.
If Superman were a tank driver, he'd drive the super tank.
Get out of the way! We're having some problems with the tank!
Do you remember these?
Do I? I wish I'd kept them. They'd be worth a fortune now.
Some of them are.
Well, I had the
complete
first
sets.
series.
Yeah, if you had a complete set, i.e. both variations, because there were 2 cards for each character, wasn't there? There's an A and a B. So Barth and Barbara also had one that was called Sicky Vicky. Same card, but different name.
This is a 40-year-old man, this is.
I loved Garbage Pail Kids, Greg, and I wish I still had mine.
Well, I wish we should... Why don't we start collecting them now?
Because have you seen the prices of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they did not bring out a new version?
Yeah,
then?
but I'm not interested in new ones.
Well, they can't do things now to be politically correct, can
And
they?
here's a little tip for you if you want to start collecting Garbage Pail Kids. If you want to make sure you've got the original 80s series, the logo is curved like that, Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
Whereas the new ones is on a banner and it's straight.
Oh, I've seen that. They're like a little banner thing. Yeah. Oh,
There you go, a little tip for you.
that's amazing.
It's an education, isn't it? Anyway, we loved these, didn't we? We all collected them and swapped them in the playground and all that. And then
We really did swap them in the playground.
they did this.
Oh my god.
And they made the Garbage Pail Kids, the movie.
Hasn't this been voted the most worst film ever made ever?
Yeah, I've got to tell you that I liked this when I was a kid, and this is the one that I've watched recently, and it is the worst film, aside from The Wizard of Speed and Time, that I've ever seen.
You mean Turtles, where you could see the eyeballs in the mouths?
Yeah, that's alright.
Wow. I mean, I haven't seen it recently, but I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? How did
This-
Who thought this would be a good idea?
This was released in 1987, and it was a live-action film adaptation of the then popular series of children's trading cards. What are you doing? There it is, Greg. You've got it. Actually got it.
We've got everything in here. Oh, by the way, look.
Oh, and
That's weird, isn't it? And that's the film.
Oh, but that's modern packaging. That's why.
It's not a big box VHS video,
No,
is
it's
it?
a reproduction.
Because you would know that because you've got a bit of a thing for big box VHS videos.
I
haven't
have got a bit of a thing for big box VHS
you?
videos.
Yeah. Here they are. I was going to read it, but then I thought I could be here a while.
Well, I've got the plot here.
Oh, go on then.
A garbage can spaceship is seen flying near Earth. The same garbage can is then shown inside an antique shop owned by Captain Manzini. Do you remember him? That's him there.
Well, they can't see that, can they?
No. Basically, there's a boy in it called Dodger as well. Goes to Mancini's antique shop where he works. Mancini takes Dodger's clothes, cleans them while warning him to stay away from the garbage can. Obviously, Dodger doesn't stay away from the garbage can. Finds the garbage can, finds them in there.
You tried to mix garbage can with Garbage Pail Kids then, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you came up with garbage pads.
Garbage KO, I said. Anyway, the plot doesn't get any thicker than that. They basically... it's rubbish.
It is rubbish. And them costumes are the most scariest thing I've ever seen.
And you can understand why it's so rubbish when you know that it had a budget of $1 million.
They must have done loads of money on that
They
then.
made $1.6 million.
But surely, all the kids at the time, and even us,
Call me Shirley.
it's very good. We would have wanted to go and see it, and why didn't we? Because I never went to cinema to see this.
Well, I didn't go to the cinema because, as you know, we didn't have a cinema where I lived.
Well, I had my own.
Yeah, of course you did. But I did rent it on VHS when it came out several times, and I remember enjoying watching it on Saturday afternoon with the curtains closed. And a packet of crisps.
When they what's it?
What is wrong with you?
Meet the Garbage Pail Kid.
Starring Nat Nerd, Windy Winston, Messy Tessie,
Give him a chance, Tangerine. You'll like it.
Last one, Greg.
Is it Super Mario Brothers?
No, but it's got the word super in the title.
Well, it's got to be Superman 4.
No, it's not. It's the one that we love, Greg.
You mean?
I mean... Da-da-da-da. Supergirl. There she is, in all of her glory.
And I love that chicken.
Love that chicken. Supergirl was released in 1984, Greg. What are you doing? We've got a film.
My wife watches it.
It was a British superhero film. It was all made over here. By... Greg, you can put that back. This was a spin-off, obviously, of Superman.
Got some gas there, mate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just burping on TV.
A spin-off of Superman, and made by the Salkin brothers.
Well, we've done lots of stories about this, haven't we, in the past? Because obviously we love the film. It's incredible.
It's not, though, is it?
No, it's
terrible.
horrendous. Absolutely atrocious. And you can see why Christopher Reeve said, no.
But we love it. We love her.
I never said that. I never said that. So if she's listening, I didn't say that.
The film was released in the United Kingdom on July 19, 1984.
84.
That's
I was
33 years ago.
I was 4.
I was 8. Faye Dunaway and Peter O'Toole earned Golden Raspberry Award nominations for the Worst Actress and Worst Actor in this film. However, Helen Slater, who played Supergirl, was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Actress. The film's failure ultimately led the Salkins to sell the Superman rights to Canon Films to make Superman 4.
That should have been in there actually, because it's one of them films. Like, all saying that, it's one of them ones you hate to love, isn't it? Superman 4.
Yeah. So, this film, Greg, had a budget.
She just turned into Michael Jackson.
This film had a budget of $35 million.
35 million.
Would you like to take a guess as to how much it made at the box office?
Well, I mean, what was it? What year was it? 84.
Yeah.
So Superman 3 would have just come out, or was it just coming out? I think it just come out. So I would imagine this flopped because of that and the fact that it's rubbish. So I'd say it made $4 million.
Not quite. It made $14.3 million on a budget of $35 million. So it didn't even make back half of its budget, Greg.
That's a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who is she? You know, I think I recognize the costume.
Do you know, all that reading of all those facts has given me a headache again, Greg?
I don't think it has, Jason.
Why?
I'll tell you what has.
Oh, for God's sake.
Do you want to just start loosening up and getting into it a bit more, Jason?
Can you just do your joke?
I got bored of my collection of keyboards, Jason. So I painted them all pink. They haven't been the same since... That's
appropriate, because that's what I think of your joke. Time for a commercial break.
Stay in shape with SlimTel.
In style.
SlimTel is in phone at its neatest.
In action.
Just plug in and press on.
In style.
On its own or on the wall, SlimTel is very clever with a button that recalls the last number dialed at a touch.
In touch and tone and form.
Rent a SlimTel from British Telecom, or you can buy it from us and good stores as a second phone for just $29.95 plus installation. For details, dial 100 and ask for free phone in phone.
My sister's a great big clever clod. There's nothing she ain't top of. So one day I just says to her, I'd love to knock your block off.
Knock your block off, knock your block off.
Will my tottering wall cave in, or will this joker save my skin? I just can't look as clever clogs lunges. How that wall stayed up is one of the world's great wonders.
Knock your block off, knock your block off.
Just you wait, you clever clogs. One day I'll knock your block off.
Knock your block off. It's new from Waddington's.
Adrian!
No, that's Rocky, Greg.
It's the same bloke, isn't it?
It is the same bloke. We're talking classic cartoons here, Greg.
Rambo!
We're talking Rambo, the Force of Freedom cartoon.
I don't think it was called that.
Yeah, it was.
Well, wasn't it just called Rambo?
It's called Rambo, the Force of Freedom.
It's just Rambo.
So what they did was...
Sam.
They took...
is this Incredible Hulk?
No, that's him underwater. He's
right.
Different colour. They took a film that was aimed primarily at adults about killing lots of people.
Killing loads of people with
blowing
knives.
things up and stuff like that.
Shooting them. Just keeping them captured.
And they turned it into a cartoon for children. And they made some action figures, which I own, Greg.
We do, don't we?
And maybe on an episode of Retro Collectors we'll get them out.
And the figures.
Yeah, this was Rambo, the Force of Freedom. It's an animated series based on the character of John Rambo from the book First Blood and the subsequent films First Blood and Rambo First Blood Part 2. The series was adapted for television by head writer Michael Chain, and the series even spawned a toy line. I've just said that.
What you just said.
The cartoon ran for 65 episodes, Greg. I didn't think it'd have had that many. It debuted on April 14th, 1986 as a 5-part miniseries and was renewed in September as a daily cartoon. Rambo was cancelled in December of the same year.
It wasn't daily for us. I think we had, like we said...
Yeah, Saturday morning
things.
Yeah, in the cartoon, John Rambo is part of a team called the Force of Freedom that goes on missions around the world battling paramilitary terrorist organisation named Savage, short for Specialist Administrators of Vengeance, Anarchy and Global Extortion.
I mean, I was 6 watching this.
I know. I don't think we read too much into it though, did we?
No. Times have changed since, haven't they?
Yeah, it was just another cartoon, wasn't it, that we watched. So I'm surprised it went on for that long. I don't remember many episodes of it. I remember watching the cartoon and I remember getting the figures one Christmas. Did you have these figures, Greg?
Of course I did. I had the whole range, Jason.
Of course you did.
Tell you what, what's interesting is, though, it never made me want to watch the film.
No.
It's only when I got older I watched the films.
And the films are classics. The first two are, anyway.
Oh, that new one was... No, it was a good film, but it was so gory.
They're making another one, apparently. The final chapter.
Oh, I read he was going to carry on for a few.
Oh, right. I thought it was the final one that he was making.
Oh, well, we'll soon find out.
And, whilst we're on about Stallone remaking things, they're making a Creed 2, aren't they? Have you read this?
Yeah.
And Dolph Lundgren's going to be in it.
We've spoke about this, Jason.
And
we've
spoken about this. And Sylvester Stallone, since we've spoken about it, has said that there are going to be punches thrown between Rocky and Dolph Lundgren. They're actually going to fight.
I mean, that makes the whole film like...
Well, he's very clever, isn't he? Because obviously...
You know what happened? They'll meet up and he'll go, "Hey, you!" And that'll be it. Sorry, Jay. But that'll be it, won't it?
Yeah. So looking forward to that, Creed 2, which has nothing to do with Rambo, obviously, because they're different characters and aren't very similar at all in any way, or speak the same or anything like that.
Rambo!
That's Rambo, the Force of Freedom cartoon. There are some episodes available on the Tube of You if you want to go and have a look.
The Tube of You?
YouTube, Greg.
Oh.
Wow, Greg, we've banged on for ages today, haven't we?
You have.
You have?
You have.
That was a good episode, wasn't it? I enjoyed it.
Well, you know, we've done better.
If you would like to get in touch with us, send us a message to tnt@totgoo.com. That's tnt@totgoo.com. The only way to get a shout out on this programme is sending us an email. We will be doing a shout out section when we've got a couple more. We've had quite a few.
I was going to say we will do it.
Yeah, we will. We'll just need a couple more people who want to shout out.
We've been saying this for 6 months.
No, we haven't.
We have.
We haven't. A couple of weeks. Get your shout outs in. Send them to that email address. We need to go now, Greg, because it's getting hot in here.
There's a song about that.
Oh, you clown.
Oh, God. Here we go again.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget, coming very soon, merchandise. Check out our Patreon page. Please like, comment and share our videos. And whilst we don't always get time to reply to all the comments, we do read them all and we do really appreciate them all. Appreciate them all. Greg, what are you doing?
Nothing.
That's all we've got time for on Tea and Toast this week. We'll see you again next week.